Yo, what's happening, guys? It's Flo. I'm here with D. So, obviously, the Utah Jazz just shipped off Donovan Mitchell to the Cleveland Cavaliers. They're pretty much done a full rebuild process. We talked about this last time, how Danny Ainge, that was his pretty much main objective. But there's still a few veteran guys on the team. Mike Conley, Jordan Clarkson, Bojan Bogdanovic. D, out of any of these guys, do you think any of them are interesting enough for the Lakers to try to get?
I don't see it happening, to be honest. Even like someone who's like a pure like outside shooter like Bogdanovic, I just think just for the Lakers to pursue an older player, a guy who's already 33 years old, I don't see him being in the league too like long. And even like with like someone like Rudy Gay, even though I don't ever see like Rudy Gay's already like 36 years old. And so their best players that are probably going to lead them this year are already like past their primes. And Mike Conley wouldn't make sense because then that would just add a third point guard, really fourth point guard, that we're going to have Scottie Pippen or, you know, someone else as the third string. And even with our former Lakers, we already traded THT, we traded Stanley Johnson. I don't even see Jordan Clarkson coming back. So to be honest, I don't really see anybody like on that team worth trading. I think that was a team that was on the Lakers' eye to like potentially trade Russell Westbrook and maybe like a 3-team trade. But now that we already kind of gave away THT and we're seeing that everybody, KD resign and the Donovan Mitchell trade, I just think it's like less likely we do business with Utah.
Yeah, I don't think it happens either. If we were to have gotten any of these players that are still on the team, I think it would have happened during the Patrick Beverley trade because they would have done it at that moment. So they could have just pretty much already had those guys into the organization. I think there's a reason they only picked Pat Beverley. They didn't really like what they saw in any of these guys. I don't think these guys fit the philosophy. A lot of them are mostly just offensive scorers. Mike Conley doesn't play defense. Bojan Bogdanovic doesn't play defense. Jordan Clarkson doesn't really play defense. So they don't fit that new Darvin Ham defensive-oriented team philosophy. And even though I do like Jordan Clarkson for his scoring ability, you got to play both ends if you really want to be a championship player on a championship team. And I just don't think he's meant for the defense side of the ball. So I think the Lakers are smart by only getting Patrick Beverley, a guy who does play two ways. Even though he's not the greatest offensive player, he'll still hit that three ball, and he's always going to give you 100% effort on the defense end. So I think of the players that were on that Jazz team before the complete rebuild, I think the Lakers got probably the best guy after Donovan Mitchell, but we weren't going to be able to land Donovan Mitchell unless they were to take it on that Russell Westbrook contract and taking on first-round picks. So I think the Lakers did a good job of picking the right player from Utah already.
Yeah, and the only player that I would really want, even though he's starting to not really be in his prime anymore, would be Mike Conley, just because with the healthy Mike Conley, he was always the Warriors' kryptonite, and like we've been talking about before, the Warriors and Grizzlies look like they're the top headers. And so Mike Conley, that's a team that he always played good against. But just like CP3, like the guy can like never stay healthy. And we already have AD, so imagine having two like star players that are always out. That'll just be a headache. And I like Jordan Clarkson. I loved it when he was with the Lakers, but we already saw that rodeo happen. We already saw what happened when he was with the Lakers. He couldn't like stay as the Lakers point guard and couldn't stay as our sixth man. And then when that whole trade happened with Braun, that's already another player that Braun already had a stint with. So anybody that was in that Cavs team during the finals, and it was big, it was like Jordan Clarkson finals, because that finals he didn't play good. And so when you have that kind of a stinger, we saw what happened with J.R. Smith. J.R. Smith, even though he signed with the Lakers, he didn't even really play a lick of minutes. And so with Jordan Clarkson, I don't think that's like another thing they would try to like want to rehash.
All right. Well, you guys let us know in the comments what you guys think about what the Lakers should do. Should we go after any more of these Utah Jazz players? Like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. See y'all next time. Peace.